Now we're here in Jaipur to drive a car that's really important to Maruti. Not because it's going to sell in the numbers that they're really used to, but more because they're banking on this car to move their image more upmarket. The Ciaz is their third shot at this segment. They've packed it with features, they've styled it, they've given it their best shot. They haven't had much success before. The Baleno and the SX4 before this really didn't click. Will they be third time lucky? Is what we want to find out. The Ciaz's dimensions point at it being the longest and widest in the segment, and it looks it too. The design speaks more of practicality than style, but it's still a huge leap ahead of the SX4. The front sports a typically Maruti small 3-slatted chrome grille with the large S badge on its nose. To add some punch are the smartly styled projector lamps and trapezoidal fogs in the air dam. The side has a shadow character line running along its waist and large rear doors. But what adds to an otherwise boring profile are the 16-inch alloys that have more spokes than the Autocar Chapter, but look quite snazzy. These large rectangular lights look very similar to the Honda City. The boot has a chrome garnish to suit the Indian taste and is a very practically sized 510 litres. The interior of the Ciaz actually looks quite great. It's got this dual tone colouring that follows through the theme on the inside, black on top, a wooden trim that cuts through the centre, and then there's the beige. The beige is really nice because it opens up the inside, makes it light and airy. Meters and dials are easy to read. Now I have the top end trim, so I have steering mounted controls, I have the 7-inch info display that has a host of functions that I'll show you in a bit. I've got automatic climate control, and this is feature packed. You'll see that list in a while. But there are also little thoughtful touches like the light that comes on when you switch on the lights in this handy storage box over here so that you can see your USB and other things inside it quite easily. But take a look at the rest. The top end variant also has leather seats, a leather wrapped steering, seat height adjust, electronic boot release, rear sunshade, keyless go, and the SmartPlay infotainment system, which has really great clarity and is easy to use. The system comes with FM/AM radio, USB, aux, iPod and media card connectivity. It also has a navigation system, Bluetooth compatibility, voice command and the rear view camera for parking. However, the reverse cam has a rather irritating instruction which sits about an inch from the top of the screen, impairing rear visibility at a distance. The touchscreen is also sometimes a little slow to react and you sometimes have to press a button twice to bring up a command. Overall, it's a smart-looking interior, and though the quality of plastics is not at the level of the City, they're still good. The Ciaz has plans to launch mid-October with both petrol and diesel variants. The diesel has the familiar Fiat-sourced multi-jet that has 89 bhp and 20.39 kgm of torque. Now we've seen this Fiat-sourced 1.3 multi-jet diesel in many of the different Maruti cars, and we were quite surprised by how lively it feels in the Ciaz. Doesn't feel underpowered at all, goes off the line nicely, but the power delivery is not entirely linear. The action really comes in after the 1800 RPM mark. And this diesel engine cruises extremely well out on the highway as well, never feels short of breath. The clutch feels slightly snappy though. It's a typical Maruti engine in its manners, where it's comfortable to amble around in heavy traffic. And though it's not enthusiastic under the 1800 RPM mark, it still will pick up in a higher gear at lower speeds on path throttle. It's only when you press the pedal flat down that it demands a gear change. Get past that 1800 RPM mark and there's a strong surge, which gets it up to 3-digit speeds quite effortlessly. And it can pull all the way to the 5200 RPM mark. Now when you rev it hard through the gears, you do hear this diesel engine. But I'm out on the highway now, and once you settle into comfortable cruising speeds, the engine is barely audible inside the cabin. The petrol engine is the 1.4 litre from the Ertiga, which has 91 bhp and 13.25 kgm of torque, but it has been tweaked to perform better. Now the petrol Ciaz is happy to trundle around in the city at low speeds, and as long as you're at path throttle, it feels adequately powered. Is when you want to get an urgent move on, you realize that power delivery is very flat and you really have to work the gears to get into the traffic gaps and make overtaking maneuvers. The petrol engine disappoints a bit with its rather lackluster delivery of power, but it never feels underpowered. It gets the job done. This engine is quite noisy and audible inside the cabin at most times. We would have liked it to be more refined. Otherwise, refinement levels are impressive with no road noise filtering in, and the suspension, even on the worst sections of road, worked away ever so silently. The low levels of NVH along with the stability makes the Ciaz feel quite solid when you drive it, and it makes you feel safe. Out on the highway, the Ciaz gives you this big car, stable, planted feel. It cruises extremely well, and even at high speeds, you're always confident. The Ciaz never gets flustered and holds its ground over bad sections of road. There is minimal pitch and barely any roll, leaving it feeling composed at all times. Now, I really haven't had a twisty, windy section of road to truly test the handling capabilities of the Ciaz, but here out on the highway, what I can tell is that the steering weighs up well and at high speeds gives you a good amount of confidence. It is truly impressive out on a highway and would make for a good long-distance cruiser not only from behind the wheel but in the back seat too. It's an extremely spacious back seat. Even 6-footer plus people will be comfortable here. There's ample legroom, good headroom, seat is nice and wide so the third passenger can be fit in easily. The floorboard's flat as well, so there's enough legroom for the third passenger. The rear console houses this AC vent for the passengers, and you have a power outlet as well with a handy little storage at the bottom. Longer-legged people will notice the shorter seat base a lot more. But you can still be comfortable on long journeys with the space giving you room to stretch out. This car amply displays that Maruti has moved the game forward in many areas, but also that it hasn't forgotten its core strengths like fuel efficiency. Claimed figures are 20.73 for the petrol and 26.21 for the diesel. And that makes it not only efficient, but super efficient. We didn't get to drive it, but the Ciaz will also come with an automatic variant. Now, after having driven the petrol and the diesel, I've come away quite impressed with the Ciaz. Maruti have taken a quantum leap forward from the earlier mid-sizers. This car is feature-packed, the interiors are well appointed, it's extremely spacious, and it scores well on ride and refinement too. If there are things to fault, it's the fact that the design is a bit plain and the pair of engines, though adequate, are not really exciting. However, if we did have to choose between the two engines, it's the diesel that impressed us more. Now you can expect the core strengths of the brand like value and efficiency as well, and there's a peace of mind that comes with the Maruti badge. So all things considered, the Ciaz is really a compelling buy. Of course, we feel that now it's a genuine rival to the ever popular Honda City as well.